All right, we are back at it today, still with a very recovering voice at this point in time. Apologize for that. Saw some funny comments from yesterday's video. It is like Batman doing Nintendo news rumors nowadays. It's Macho Man Randy Savage. I'll take all of it. A lot of it made me laugh. So appreciate you guys down in the comments helping get an extra little chuckle or two while I'm recovering my voice back to normal health. Now, from here today, we have to talk about this Chinese Weibo leaker that you might be familiar with because we have covered them in the past, specifically with a rumor around there being a planned January reveal for the console and a ultimate March launch, which seems really crazy to say out loud. It seems like Nintendo would not launch a console just a couple months after revealing it to all of us, but you can also make the argument on the opposite side of the spectrum that it's a much more iterative console. It's going to be called Nintendo Switch 2, it sounds like. So by all accounts, maybe Nintendo doesn't feel like they need as much of a longer period to ramp up this marketing and rather just kind of throw out the first look trailer and let us know that pre-orders are available and it will be out a couple months later. That is a possibility. And while I'm less convinced on the March timeline for the launch, considering we have sources like Nate the Hate and others suggesting more of that May or June timeframe, I do think there is now some validity to the January reveal and hopefully earlier in January as opposed to later. And we even had that one comment from Chris String that he was hearing just backroom chatter, not necessarily going on record stating it's going to happen, but that he was hearing that right at the beginning of the new year or close thereafter, Nintendo would be giving us some information on this console. And we also had that Nin Spider post from Fammy Boards, the user who was kind of first talking about the magnetically attaching Joy-Cons, saying very early January, and that it might have been one of the last posts before that time, referencing the Nintendo Switch 2 reveal. Well, now we have an exact date to at least maybe entertain the idea that it will fall on, and a double down from this Chinese Weibo leaker that the planned launch will be in March. And then we have an entirely different source that has been right in 2024 with everything they've suggested, yet I am still skeptical of them, suggesting that we might know what the launch game for Nintendo Switch 2 is, which this one is plausible and actually something that I could maybe see Nintendo doing, even though it might not make the most sense on the surface. So we're going to unpack all of this. Before we do, make sure you like, subscribe, and turn on your bell notification to join Sunbro Nation if you're new here. And we have to first kick it off by quickly talking about this Chinese Weibo leaker. Now, the big thing, and we've shown images of it in the past, but the big reason that this person gained any kind of notoriety online is that it largely wasn't paid attention to in other parts of the world, but this person almost accurately entirely leaked the presentation contents of the June Nintendo Direct with some really obscure, even like Ace Attorney collection games that were there that nobody else was really rumoring online. Like it seems like this person at least has a source somewhere, or at least from the game side of things, knew what was going to be at that presentation ahead of time. And you can see this post over on Our Gaming Leaks and Rumors, which says Chinese Weibo leaker who leaked the whole June Direct has started a mysterious countdown to January 8th, which could be the announcement date for Switch 2. A Chinese Weibo leaker who previously leaked the entire June Nintendo Direct has been counting down using the Fibonacci sequence numbers since December 21st. Based on this pattern, the countdown will end on January 8th. The leaker previously claimed that Switch 2 would be revealed in January, so this might be a hint as to its announcement date. Now, I would like to point out that they have edited this post and said the leaker has claimed he's counting down to Enfield's beta test. The beta test has been confirmed to take place from January 11th to the 20th, not January 8th. It's a classic case of trying to cover up, but only making it more obvious. So the way this individual did leak the entire June Direct was with a lot of retweets and liking posts and things like that, that were clearly referencing what would be in the event, but not directly stating this is leaked information type of thing. So the idea that this person is saying it's to some kind of beta test that actually doesn't line up with January 8th, which is the date that this countdown would expire, leads many online to believe that that's kind of just throwing us off the trail. This is literally the first full week in January. If you look at the calendar, it is also a Wednesday, and depending on if it was happening Japan time in like the morning or evening, it could actually happen for us on something like a Tuesday evening, which Tuesday or Wednesday would totally be on the table for when Nintendo typically reveals things. And it's a date to watch out for, but also not, 100% make concrete. I think that if it didn't happen that week, we have the Donkey Kong game out on the following week, so I would then be shifting my eyes towards the 21st through the 23rd for that first look trailer, and there is some additional stories floating around online that like the music track that will be used in this first reveal trailer has already been commissioned by some certain artists that I'm not super familiar with or anything. But anyway, if the music is already planned, everything's already filmed, Nintendo might have this thing ready to go sooner rather than later, and there is some stuff pointing to early January for that first look, which I'm really hoping is what we see officially from Nintendo, because with all those leaks out there now, it's just better to get out there and show us the thing officially from Nintendo's own mouths. And then you do have the Nintendo Switch 2 subreddit, which says the Chinese Weibo leaker also doubles down on the Switch 2 releasing in March, highlighting that one of his posts back on November 23rd was talking about the shipment volume. Now, it has been clarified later on that this person meant 650 million units targeted for like a worldwide launch. That's actually pretty in line with what you would expect to see based off some of the internal shipping reports that people have seen so far, and it lines up with Nintendo president's own words that basically they're going to try to flood the market day one as much as possible to actually meet consumer demand, to try to not have a scalping situation. And they made another post on December 6th just saying that, you know, it can be predicted that the interval between release and sale will not be too long, and, you know, that going off of Foxconn's November financial report, it already shows that a bunch of units have been sent out, probably in finalized retail packaging, to Nintendo. Now from there, we have good old Samus Hunter back on the case, which I'm getting more and more leery of them, even though they have gotten nothing wrong in 2024 thus far and have actually gotten some hard to guess, hard to predict things right. It's also not clear to me that they're not just stealing other people's leaks, accurate leaks, like they did before, and maybe they got a little bit better at it this year and we just didn't catch on. I will say, if that is the case, they got very lucky with the timing that they were posting stuff around, say, like the Xenoblade Chronicles X announcement, literally teasing it a day or two before it dropped, and then we got that trailer. So who knows on this one, but they are chiming in with quite a bit more information lately, and we're not talking through all of their individual posts, but one that I do want to highlight because there's still a big debate around what the launch game will be for the next console. Samus Hunter posted this and said, "I want to wish you a happy holiday season. Spend it with those you care about most and relax, and soon after there will be lots of good information to discuss. What am I going to do? I won't be hunting space pirates. For that, I will wait until Switch 2's launch day." Now, we do have a slight Prime 2 update, which I believe it will be time Prime 2 and 3, but somebody also asked, isn't Prime 2 meant to arrive before then, though? And Samus Hunter says, yes, it will in fact come out before Metroid Prime 4 on Switch 1. These are past adventures that I've already gone through. Now, Samus Hunter has spoken on what they believe the launch timeline will be, and it is actually in line with that May and June time, like what Nate the Hate suggested, and I'm more inclined to believe that that is the actual launch time. I would love to see a March launch, but already knowing a March game with Xenoblade Chronicles X, we would then have to have Metroid Prime 4 potentially drop that same month for a March launch, or in May, June seems more like the big month that maybe Metroid Prime 4 could launch, and it might actually be the console launch title. There is some interesting talk around like the Mario games that are coming. You know, we're going to get a 3D Mario early into the next console's life cycle, no doubt. We're going to get the next Mario Kart early into the next console's life cycle, no doubt. But it also might be something where those are actually not in the launch window, or one of them is, the other one isn't, maybe within the first fiscal year of the console being on the market, but, you know, 9 months to 12 months out, and then Nintendo just really starts to build out a big lineup of games, like maybe a couple months after the console's launch, we get the 3D Mario, but not the day one game. Will Nintendo choose to launch it like that? It's possible. It would definitely help the sales of Metroid Prime 4, no doubt, if it is a Nintendo Switch 2 version alongside of a Switch 1 version with an actual retail Switch 2 box, and it's like one of the big first-party launch titles. Like, it will no doubt push the sales of that franchise to a higher level. You could also argue that Nintendo likes Zelda or Mario for launch titles, and I do think that Mario, a new 3D adventure, or even the next Mario Kart makes a ton of sense. Not to mention that we've seen that other, those leaked images that, if they are to be believed, that person is suggesting that at some point there's going to be a bundle themed console with a 9 in the title. That to me sounds more like the holiday season game if this comes out in May or June, and then we have to wait until October or November to actually see that hit retail shelves for the holiday season to help sell it. I think that's more in line with what I would expect, but interesting talk nonetheless floating around online. And finally, I know it seems like it's been forever talking about Switch 2 rumors and leaks on the channel and everything, but we are not that much longer from getting official information from Nintendo, knowing exactly what the console looks like, what all it will feature, and shortly thereafter, I'm sure, an exact launch date and launch title. So let me know in the comments down below what you make of both these different stories. Are you setting any more or less expectations on a January reveal and or a March or May May or June launch, and which ones of those do you think it will be? You think there's a chance that Nintendo waits until after their next investor briefing and we don't get a look at this console until into February or even into March? And what game do you think would really be the best fit to launch alongside of Nintendo's next gen hardware as the day one title? So make sure you share all your thoughts and feelings in the comments down below before you leave, regardless if we agree or disagree. Also make sure you like, subscribe, turn on your notification bell. With that, I've been Sunbro, you've been Nation. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.